In this video, we'll be hunting 2 boxes of pennies, as well as seeing if we make any progress to the Penny Hunt and Fill album. Of course, we'll be looking for any wheat scents from 1958 or older, and we'll also be looking for any foreigns, proofs, heirs or varieties, or any other cool things we can find, as well as setting aside any copper pennies we find and seeing how much we can fill up the copper jar. I'm pretty excited for these 2 boxes because I have looked for enders, and we have 2 enders for each box. Box number 1 has a wheat scent in roll number 3 pretty early on, as well as a Canadian scent near the end. And box number 2 also has a wheat scent and a Canadian ender. We have an obverse facing 1956 out of Philly, and just a Canadian scent right there. So with a wheat scent and Canadian ender for both boxes. Excited. Hopefully these boxes can be as good as the enders are. So let's start the hunt on box number 1, and I'll bring you in when we have our first find. That's a good sign because I just opened the first roll and I already see the edge of the first wheat scent of the hunt right there. And the first wheat scent is going to be pretty damaged and looks like a 1945 from Denver. Roll 3 of box 1 was that wheat scent ender, and I just opened the roll. There's also going to be the first Canadian of the hunt in the roll, which I'll just take you out while I have you here. It's just a 1980, and the wheat scent ender, or wheat scent number 2 of the hunt, is a 1953 out of Philly. Roll 14, just opened the roll, and I see the edge of wheat scent number 3 for the box. It's near the back right here. And this time we're going to have 1948 Denver. Just opened roll 19, and I see the edge of wheat scent number 4. And this one is right here. And wheat scent 4 is a 1945 Denver. Roll 24, just uncovered wheat scent number 5. Now we're halfway to double digits, which is my goal for any penny box. Wheat scent number 5 is a 1951, minted in Denver. Just opened roll 27, and I see the edge of the next wheat scent, which is going to be number 6 of the box, right here. And this one's going to be just a last year 58 Denver. Roll 32, I just uncovered another wheat scent. This one's a beauty. Look at that 1957 Denver. It's not perfect BU, but it's pretty close to it. I know the one we have in the album is pretty nice, so I'm not sure if this one's going to upgrade, but still, either way. It has a beautiful wheat scent found in circulation, and that's an awesome find. Just opened roll 34, and I almost missed it because it's a little discolored, but we are going to have another wheat scent right there. It's just a little dark. And it's pretty corroded, but it is 1956 Denver. Just opened roll 35, and I see the edge of another wheat scent as well as a Canadian, which I'll just take out since I already have you here. Canadian, it's just a 1974. This wheat scent is going to be number 9, so only 1 away from double digits. And this wheat scent is, wow, a 1932 Denver? I was not expecting that to be old. And that's a better date too. We, of course, don't have that one for the album. Only 10 million minted. That is definitely a better date wheat scent. Did not expect to find that one in this entire series, to be honest. Super surprised I just found that one. Definitely the best find of the hunt, by far. Still on the same roll as that 1932 Denver, and we're going to have another oldie and another wheat scent. So we're going to have wheat scents number 9, 10, and 11 in the same roll, with 2 of them being old. Here's the second old one. It's really worn, but I'm pretty sure that's a 1920 out of Philly, which is a common one. Of course, we already have this one for the album. This one's pretty slick, not going to upgrade, but still cool to see a wheat scent from the 20s, and that's also the hunt. And just a few coins later, another wheat scent. This one's just a common 1955 Denver, but that roll was pretty crazy. Roll 37, and it's not another wheat scent, but this is the oldest Canadian of the box, and it's a really nice one. It's a 1962 Younghead in super good condition. I know pretty much none of my Youngheads are this nice, so I'm pretty sure this is going to upgrade in my Canadian album, which is awesome, and that is another great find. Roll 41, just a few coins in, and I just uncovered another wheat scent from the 40s, 1944, out of Philly. Just opened roll 43, and we're going to have another wheat scent. This one is pretty much right in the middle of the roll. And it's going to be a 1951 Denver. Same roll. We're going to have another wheat scent in the same roll. this one's going to be 1945 Denver. Just open the next roll, and the box is going to stay hot because I see the edge of yet another wheat cent. This one is right here. And we're going to have a 1954 from Denver. Roll 49, just uncovered another wheat cent near the end of the roll. It's in pretty decent shape, but it's just 1958 Denver. First penny box has been hunted, and it was a really good box. We ended with 16 wheat cents. The end of the box really heated up in the last 20 or so rolls, including two oldies, which we got in the same roll. 1920, I'm pretty sure it's a Philly. It's pretty worn out. And that 1932 Denver, only 10 million minted. That will be an addition to the album, and it's in pretty good shape, and that might be the lowest vintage wheat cent I've ever found in circulation with only 10 million. So that's a super cool find, definitely the best find of the box. We also ended with 12 Canadians as well, with one older one being a pretty nice 1962 Younghead, which might upgrade my Canadian album. We'll see at the end of the hunt. So that was a super good first box, definitely a great way to start the hunt. Still going to hunt box number 2, and again, this box has another wheat cent ender and a Canadian ender, so hopefully the success can continue from box number 1 into this box. So I'll bring you in when we have our first find for box number 2. Just open the second roll of box 2, and we're going to have the first wheat cent for this box. Again, hopefully we can get some success like box number 1 in the sister box. And our first wheat cent of box 2 is a 1948 out of Philly. Roll 12, and we're still waiting on getting the second wheat cent for box 2, but I bring you in because we have a Canadian cent, and I already looked at the date, and we're going to have the second Younghead of the hunt. This one is just a common last year, 1964, but still a great find. Just open the next roll, and now we're going to have wheat cent number 2 for the second box. And I see the edge of it right here near the middle. And this wheat cent's going to be 1946 Denver. Roll 21, and I didn't notice it as I was hunting through the roll since the back few coins were kind of piled up, but we are going to have a wheat cent one away from being an ender in this roll. And it's going to be a 1946 from Philly. Roll 33 was that wheat cent ender for box 2, and I just opened the roll. Don't see anything else in the roll, but here it is, and it is a 1956 from Philly. Just opened roll 25, halfway point of box 2, and I see the edge of another wheat cent near the back of the roll right here. And this wheat cent is pretty nice, and it is a 1957 Denver. Just opened roll 27, and I see the edge of the sixth wheat cent for box number 2, and this one is right here. And this time we're going to have a 1953 from Denver. Same roll, and we have the exact same wheat cent once again, so it's going to make 7 for the box. And as I said, it's the same as the last one, another 1953 Denver. Just opened roll 32, and I see the edge of wheat cent number 8 for box 2, and it's just a couple coins away from being an ender in the front. And this one looks really worn. This one might be an old one. Hopefully it's old, and hopefully it's for the album. And it is old. It's a 1917 out of Philly. I don't think we have that one. Let's see. No, we don't have a 1917. 196 million minted. It is a common one, but we didn't have it for the album. So this is another album edition. We had that 1932D out of box 1. Now we have a 1917 Philly from box 2. 2 album editions in one hunt this late in the series is definitely hard to get. Super excited about that. That is an awesome find. Same roll, just a few coins in, and we're going to have another wheat cent. This is number 9 for box 2, almost at double digits. And this one is a 1944 from Denver. Next roll, and wheat cent number 10 is going to be another oldie. Only a couple coins in, just like the 1917. And this one's going to be a 1929 out of Philly. Not sure if we have that one or not. Okay, and we already do have this one for the album, so we're not going to get a third edition on this one, but still, already have 2 editions, and this is pre-40s wheat cent number 4 of the hunt, the second one from the 20s, which is awesome. So many wheat cents and so many oldies. This hunt is definitely awesome. Roll 41, going through the roll, and I just uncovered another wheat cent, this one being from the 40s, a 1942, minted in Denver. 46, just uncovered another wheat cent near the end of the box. This one is just 1954 from Denver. Same roll, and we're going to have another wheat cent, this one also being from the 50s, and it's pretty damaged, but it is in 1957 Denver. Next roll, just a couple coins in, and I didn't even notice at first, but we have another old wheat cent. This one, pretty sure it's another 1929 Philly. It's pretty corroded. And yeah, it looks like a 1929 Philly. Definitely doesn't look like there's a mint mark there. Already have a 29 Philly for the hunt. This one is pretty beat up, but still, it's another wheat cent from the 20s. And now we're at 5 wheat cents pre-40s for the hunt, which is amazing. Both penny boxes have been hunted, so let's go over the finds. We ended up with 9 1959s, 22 estimates, as well as 25 2009s. Canadians, we got a lot more than the past couple hunts. We got 23 for these 2 boxes, including a few older ones. 3 bird cents, I'm pretty sure they're all out of box number 2, which is pretty cool. 2 young heads as well, just a common 1964, and a pretty nice 1962, which could very well upgrade my Canadian album. 3 miscellaneous finds, they're all just 1960 small dates, but 3 in 1 hunt is definitely above average. Now, for the wheat cents, we end up with 30 for the 2 boxes, which is definitely a great amount. Both boxes were really good. Did get a really nice 1957 Denver, and we got quite a few oldies as well, a couple additions to the album even. We had 5 pre-40s, a 1932 Denver being the one from the 30s and being the rarest one at 10 million minted, possibly the rarest wheat cent I've ever found corner hunting with only 10 million. Definitely going to be an addition there, as well as it's in decent shape. 3 from the 20s and 1920, I'm pretty sure is out of Philly. Super one on that one, already have it. And 2 1929 Phillies as well. We do already have that one, but that top one may be an upgrade. And 1 from the teens as well, a 1917 out of Philly with some pretty cool wood grain toning on it. It's not in the best shape, pretty worn, but it is going to be an addition. So 2 additions in 1 hunt this late in the series is definitely a great hunt. And with 30 wheat cents as well, you really can't complain at all. This was a pretty epic hunt. Now, going on to the copper, pretty average for the 2 boxes as usual. Almost filled the copper jar, which I pretty much get almost every time I hunt pennies, which is definitely a good amount of copper. So good hunt in all respects. We got lots of oldies, a couple additions to the album, and a couple nice wheat cents from the 50s, as well as a lot of Canadians. Nice finds all across the board. Again, definitely a great 2-box hunt. Now, I'm going to go through the finds and see how much album progress we made, and I'll bring you back with an album update. Just finished updating the album, and first, for those of you wondering, that 1962 Younghead Canadian did upgrade my Canadian album. The one before was brown, and that one was probably a red brown, so definitely a big upgrade there. But anyways, let's get on to the main album for the Hunt and Fill series. We had a total of 2 additions and 3 upgrades in the album, all for the wheat cents, which is super good this far in the series, as I've said. First edition was the 1917, 196 million minted, not a super rare one, we just didn't have it yet. Being an oldie, definitely tougher to find. Has some pretty cool wood grain toning as well, although it's pretty worn. Still an awesome upgrade to make. And the other upgrade was, of course, that 1932 Denver. Pretty decent shape for its age, and with only 10 million minted, it's definitely a tough one to get. Super excited to add that to the album, and that's now the lowest minted wheat cent in the album, being the older one, which was the 28S with 17 million minted. Super happy to add that one. And then for the 3 upgrades, they were all wheat cents. The first upgrade was the 1942 Denver. Not a super nice example, but the one before did have some damage and corrosion on it, so definitely a good upgrade there. Next upgrade was just a minor upgrade on the 1944 Denver, probably a number grade or 2 higher, so good upgrade there as well. And the last upgrade was the 1957 Denver. The old one was really nice as well, but had a little bit of brown on it and had the Ring of Death on the obverse. So I took that one out and upgraded it. And then I used the old one to fill in the wheat cent reverse spot, which was red-brown before. So with 2 additions and 3 upgrades in the wheat cents this far into the series, super good hunt, as well as a Canadian album upgrade as well. Super good hunt, another great 2-box penny hunt. Gotten a lot of good boxes lately. Hopefully this success can continue in the next hunt. And this was definitely a great 2-box hunt.